Good morning, and this is the Finance Pastor coming to you live from my basement in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I hope everybody's doing phenomenal. We are going to look at what the stock market is doing in the next day. There's a lot of news. The stock market has been hammered for the last few days. A lot of news that are coming out from Washington, D.C., a lot of just uncertainty that is causing many of the markets to panic, and many investors are really holding on to their dollars, and other investors are more euphoric, but there's a lot of unsettlement in the stock market. Many of the news that is coming out, whether it is tax related or tariffs or just even missed earnings or uncertainty, there's a lot to unpack in this couple of minutes that we have together. So far, the stock market today is beholding on the biggest news today, which is going to be earnings for Nvidia, which will happen at the end of the market. So far, the market futures have been up. Some are considering this a potential move that it may go up, but we've had some market movers pre-market that have made some bold moves. One of those being Lowe's of department stores. Those of you who are familiar with the sector, they believe that construction will be picking up, and they believe in that their earnings will continue to increase. And you see a big pre-market move at Lowe's. And also we have certain moves on other companies that Supermicro has taken a bullish stance. A lot of news that has come out from Supermicro for the last year from some concerns of auditing practices that were brought up, many concerns, which really took this stock that was over $100 back down to like about the $30 to $40 range, and it's slowly but surely starting to climb up. Was it a real issue that they had, or was it just a fluke or maybe a rogue employee? Nobody knows, but so far Supermicro has really picked up steam. Could it potentially keep moving up? That's up for debate, especially following the Q3, Q4 earnings. That's what we want to look at. We're going to want to look at some of the market movers that are happening today. So we want to take a look at some of the news that's affecting the stock market today. So I'm going to go share my screen, go to look at TradingView right now. We're looking at the S&P 500. Really everything right now, it's pre-market, so there's not really movement now. Everything is really in the futures is up. Let's look at CNBC. Let's update the futures and see what is done. So far, the futures Dow is up 103. S&P up about 26 points, which is very huge. NASDAQ up 141 points futures. Will this keep going on? We don't know, but we are seeing a lot of things that may cause us. GM, of course, they're doing buybacks. General Motors has really trying to rebound from their losing streak, but this buyback really offers concerns in the company as far as that the company will do better. It's really going to be up to the tariffs. A lot of car manufacturing, this is including Ford, Stellantis. A lot of the tariffs are really going to have a big say so on what it happens with these companies. Nvidia, of course, the biggest thing. Ukraine, one of the biggest things that we're starting to see is this Ukraine situation in Russia. We are starting to see that this is turning out to be more complicated than a lot of people thought. Now, if this war stops, because this is the thing, Russia is depleted economically. Ukraine, if it wasn't for the United States, would be decimated a long time ago. So this is a war proxy that United States has gotten itself in, and it behooves them to end this war. This war should have never started. You have millions of people that have died, displaced people. You have people that their lives have been turned over, never to be the same. You have mothers that have lost their sons on a war that should have never happened. This right here is going to be one of those things that if we can stop this, if there's peace in the world, if there's trade and economic goodness for all, I think we go see a very good outcome in the Ukraine-Russia war. But again, everyone has to cede control in some way or form. So we're seeing a lot of things that are affecting the stock market. Many people who thinking, all right, Trump is in office, the stock market should go wild. That's not going to happen. If you're a Trump fan or Trump supporter and you think that it's going to be a euphoric up, you're sorely mistaken. You're living in the clouds. His first administration didn't go straight up. No stock market goes straight up. So you have to understand that there will be resistance when you're going up. I'm all bullish on the Trump administration, but I also know that not everything is going to go straight up. Not every company is going to survive. That's why you have to look at where the money in Washington is going right now. You look at that, all those policies, where the money's going, what investments are coming in. Those companies are the ones I'm looking after. Apple, Amazon, Google, Tesla, a lot of other name brands, many of the AI movements, also construction with data centers. I'm looking at Lennar Homes, Pulte Homes, all these big data centers that are going to be built. Well, you need residential neighborhoods in those areas. You're going to see a lot of big box companies that are really going to take on a real estate boom. Has that real estate boom happened yet? Not really. Every real estate investor I talk to, I invest in real estate. There's not the deals that you have seen before. From 2012 to 2022, you were able to find decent deals in the real estate market. Right now, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. It's really that slim pickings. Unless you're doing new construction, many real estate investors are sitting on the sidelines. That's why they're investing in the stock market and putting their money into crypto and other asset classes, because just the real estate market has not been there. Could there be an economic boom? Possibility. There's a possibility of that. Or could wages go up to match up with the housing increase in price? That's one of the things I want to start seeing. Our wages are going to go up, or is inflation going to go down where prices go down? That's a toss up with a lot of economic people that I have read some of their articles or seen some of their videos. That's a toss up. Many don't know if it's just going to be a straight up economy or if it's just going to be a slow roll. Now we want to look at, okay, how can I invest my dollars? So we're going to look at a couple of stocks here and some of the ones that I like trading and see what's happening with the stocks right now. Could it go up? Could it go down? We don't know. And that's the good thing about investing. It's about believing in what's coming in, also looking at what policy is coming out of Washington, D.C. Not politics, it's policy. That's the difference. When you look at policy, you don't focus on politics because you start seeing that the money flows. Money goes from this person to that person, from that company to that company, from this industry to that industry. That's what you have to look at, how the money flows in the United States. We want to look at some stocks here, and I want to share my screen. Let's go look at some of our favorites that we look at weekly. So we're going to look at, let's go to Trading View. So we start looking at, go my favorite Tesla right here. He's gotten hammered. Tesla also hitting this line of resistance right here, this 293. If Tesla continues to fall, it's going to test the 293 is the next range. It really is right here. If you see this line, testing this 302 is really testing it. But if I were to look for a primal line and a distal line, this 267, 268 could be a place. If Tesla continues to fall, hear me again. If Tesla continues to fall, I will look into that 302, 268 range. That is probably where I see it falling if it falls. I like the falling of Tesla stock, not because I want it to fall, only because I believe I'm getting more discount. To me, Tesla's undervalued. So what you could have bought maybe for 2 shares, you're now probably getting what you could have bought for 1 share, you're probably getting 2 shares now, which is what I like. So for those of you that are bullish on Tesla, bullish on Elon Musk, you have to play the game. You have to be in it in the good times and bad times. I'm going to play the game in the good times and bad times. I've been in this stock. I got in around 162. I rode it all the way up to 460, whatever it went to, and then it's right down to 2. It's one of those that I'm going to ride it. Have I hedged on it? Absolutely. That's why you play puts. That's why you have option plays on it. That's why you look at ways where you can profit even if it doesn't go the way that you're going, that you want it to go. So Tesla is one of those stocks that I love, but also I have to be realistic. It has gotten beat up, and right now is just a wait and see. Let's look at Nvidia. Nvidia, all eyes on Nvidia today. I mean, if Nvidia crushes it, then you could see this stock probably go to 175, 185. If this stock falls, look at it to fall to the 112 range, in that vicinity, that 126, 112 range, if it falls. If this stock has more than better than expected earnings, you could see this stock go to 175 overnight and just gap up. So expect that tomorrow if this stock has better than expected earnings. If not, you're going to see this stock fall all the way down to that 112 area, 115, 117. Let's look at Apple. Apple. Let's see. Let's see what Apple does today. With Tim Cook really promoting and adding, saying that Apple's going to invest over $500 billion over the next few years in the United States, to me, that's a telltale sign that even though Tim Cook may not agree with everything that Trump does, at least he's willing to work. That says a lot. That's maturity. That's let's bygones be bygones, and let's move forward to make this country phenomenal and great again. So I'm looking for Apple to really continue its bullish run. If you notice, it's just kind of nice little stair step. It's just a nice little uptrend. If you're patient, Apple's one of those companies that just will do well. Let's look at Palantir. Palantir has gotten hammered, and I wouldn't I would not be surprised if this stock goes to the $80, $81 range, if it continues to fall. Now, could Palantir get a bounce up if the stock market goes up today? Absolutely. If Nvidia goes up, Palantir could be a beneficiary of that move. Now, but if it doesn't, we could see another fall right here in this range, in that $81 range, where you can kind of see that this is kind of like a place of maybe a supply, a demand zone right here. So that's kind of one of those stocks that I'll be looking at. Palantir, I'm bullish on Palantir. Again, follow the money in Washington, and you'll see a lot of this, all these companies are together. Amazon, Jeff Bezos, gotten hit up a little bit. Almost the same thing. All these stocks look the same. All these stocks look the same. Just really been going up, and then just the last few days have really had a challenge. So with that, make it as for investors that are looking for long term. This is what you want to look at. And let me change my screen here so you can see me. With Amazon, one of the things that we have to look at is where Amazon's really a place that where everyone can buy and sell. It's basically one of the biggest wholesalers there is in the United States or in the world. Amazon is one of those stocks that all these stocks have all been looking the same. When you look at one technology company, basically all the same. A lot of the stock market is following patterns. A lot of the stock market is not having to be right. A lot of trading in the stock market is looking at, okay, this is where the money's moving. That's really what we do here, what I like looking at. So we look at what companies are the innovators. Amazon's going to be a leader. It's part of the Magnificent Seven. It's going to be a very key innovator in everything that we do. Amazon is just more than just a store, eBay, or a place where people can exchange. It does more. And you start seeing the technology that Amazon has invested in, the companies that it has partnered with. It is very powerful. So Amazon is one of those stocks that I really want to work with. So let's see, share my screen. Let's look at a couple of other stocks. You'll probably figure out I'm not technology savvy over here, but that's okay. Let's go to Meta Platforms. Meta, another company that I'm bullish on. Zuckerberg originally changed his tune. I guess he saw the light. Like many other people in Silicon Valley, they saw the light. But Meta is one of those companies I'm really bullish on. This is one of my stocks that I believe is going to continue to go up. I believe this stock could go to 1,000 by the end of the year. So I'm bullish on Meta. It's already up pre-market, 5 points, close to 6 points, but I'm loving Meta. Meta's a grown adult now. So you look at that, and for all it's worth, Mark Zuckerberg has really kept this one kind of real as far as like real relevant in the tech space. So we're looking at MicroStrategy. Look at MicroStrategy again. If we look at that bullish run, it's had a nice little run. MicroStrategy's kind of like been falling off that chain. It looks like it's trying to build like another stair step. I want to see if it stays here to see if it builds up. So that's kind of one of those companies I want to look at. MicroStrategy. Let's look at what else. Supermicro 45 is up 10 points. It's up 55 already. So this is a nice move. I want to have Supermicro on my stock trading list. This is one that if it stays above a certain range, might be a place to get in. Supermicro would be one of those. And let's see what else. AMD kind of been a dud. Yep. Dud. 103. AMD's come right back to where it's bounced off. So there's been a lot of people like all calling the shot on AMD, but AMD's gone right back to where it's at. It's up $1.42, not much, but let's see where AMD. AMD, I got a love-hate relationship with AMD. So let's see. Let's see, Google, Alphabet, always leader of the market. I'm loving this. Is kind of hitting on that 174, 172, 170 range is kind of like a place of resistance. Let's see if it holds this place right here. Other than that, I really don't know. Google, it's kind of like in an indecision. Kind of like many of the stocks here, they're trying to figure out where to go. So you start looking at these companies are trying to figure out where to go. So today is going to be a day where no one knows what's going to happen. But as traders and as investors, it behooves us to be aware of what's happening in the stock market. It's not always going to be going straight up. A lot of trading in the stock market is really being patient. A lot of the trading in the stock market is not listening to what everyone else says. A lot of trading in the stock market has to deal with conviction of, especially of the company that you're investing in. That's why I like investing in companies that I love, that I understand. Why? Because my conviction of investing in these stock prices and stock market or companies, it's really, really heavy. When I invest in a company, I believe in what they're doing. Not only do I believe in what they're doing, I buy their products. Like many people, you start looking at the car you drive, what products you enjoy, where you shop, what's in your home. If you're married, where do your spouse, where do you love to shop? And if you have children, what do they buy? Do they enjoy certain things? And you start seeing that the things that are in your home, that 5 out of 10 of those companies are publicly traded. Some of you have gifts where you understand an industry so well that you can trade what you already know. That's what I love about the stock market, because everyone, and I believe everyone can participate. If you start giving up maybe like a latte or maybe 2 or 3 lattes in a week, you can find that you can buy a couple of shares of one stock, whether it's a Rivian, whether it's like a $12 stock or a $9 stock like Ford. That's like 2 lattes in a week. You start looking that you can invest little by little. And the game of investing is a little at a time. That's the game. If you start looking at people like a Warren Buffett, like really who has given us clues of how to have delayed gratification and making your money work for you, how? Reinvesting, letting compound interest do its work. I love Warren Buffett's method because a lot of it is simple. It's just the name of the game is doing it over and over and over again, month in and month out, not worrying about what's happening around you, but really focusing on what's the future going to look like. And as we go through this weekend and all through this week, we're going to have so many news in the market cycle this week that's really going to drive the market, whether up or down. Some of you are going to see that there's going to be opportunities for you to place yourself in stocks that you were thinking were too high at one time, and now those stocks are really at a discount. discounted price. So it behooves you to start investing. It behooves you to start learning how to place your money and put it in places where you can see growth. See, one of the things that we look at as investors is, especially if God has called you to take dominion over the marketplace, well, you need to either start a business, invest in something, but first of all, and most of all, invest in yourself. You need to invest in your mind. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. That's why it behooves you to read, to focus on things that are improving your livelihood. And that's why learning about stocks, learning about the companies that you enjoy really helps you invest your hard-earned money into future growth, where as you're planning for your retirement or whether you're planning to really exceed your savings, the stock market is probably one of the biggest savings accounts that you'll ever have. One of the things that I love about the parable about the talents is that Jesus said that the master gave one 5, the master gave the other one 2, and the master gave the other one 1. The one that he gave 5 doubled it. The one that he gave 2 doubled it. I wish the Bible said where did they invest in, but it doesn't. But then it says the one that he gave 1 buried it. He buried his talent. And the master said it would have been good if you would have put it in the bank to collect interest. It would have been better than to let it put in the ground. And he called them, you wicked and evil servant. Many of you think that, and I've said this before, and I've gotten a lot of flack from people on the online, because savers are losers. Christians who save their money are losers. And not loser as a person, loser as the buying power of your dollar goes down with all the money that we're printing. Over the last several years, we printed so much money that what used to buy you something a few years ago has pretty doubled or tripled in price. It's not that the products went up, it's that the value of our dollar goes down. As the value of our dollar goes down, it behooves you to put it in places like the SPY, like an ETF, like a SPY, QQQ, DIA, VOO, many other good ETFs. That's the stuff that you start looking at where you could place your money, and it's like a supersized savings account. So as you go along through your journey of financial freedom, and as you go along the journey of saying, hey, I want to improve something in my life, well, something has to improve. So start taking the action, whether it's reading books, whether it's attending a seminar, whether it is like focusing on an extra way of income. You need to start that process. It behooves you to start investing. No one else is going to save you. Not a government, not a president. Nothing's going to save you but yourself. You have to take up your bootstraps, strap them up, and go to work. And that's what I love about investing in the stock market. You know why? Because I asked the Lord, how can I make money? How can I make money? And the Lord, you know what the Lord did? The Lord took Felix's dialing finger and said, click on that button. That's right. I use my dialing finger to trade in the stock market. What better way can you make money than that? And I'm telling you here that you're going to love investing, especially when it's the products that you love. So I'm giving up this stock market update today. It is Wednesday. We're going to see what the stock market does the rest of the week. I'm looking forward to seeing what the stock market turns out. I hope you have a phenomenal week. I pray blessings and abundance over you and your family. And I hope you have a phenomenal day. Until next time.